Welcome back to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We have on the line with us the guru himself, none other than Coach Van Pettaway. Coach, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine, Dr. Prince. Doing great.
Well, look, if you're like me, man, what an outstanding, confusing tournament that we've had. And this thing is unraveled that is almost out of control, Coach, in a good way.
Right. I guess what the big word for this season is parity, because you got a lot of schools that are showing that they're not that far away from being a part of the blue blood, and they're doing it with their basketball teams, and they really have messed up a lot of brackets.
No doubt about it. Coach, I don't even worry about a bracket, man, because the bracket is almost like calculus as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the things that could be figured out, but good luck trying. And so you look at what Farley Dickinson and Princeton has done, and it kind of gave me a glimmer of hope for the SWAC conference. I think there are some things that might need to be fine-tuned, and let me dare say this, go on record, I think we may be spending a bit too much attention and money toward football, where our true neutralizer could be in basketball.
Right. I think basketball is the great equalizer. I think you can put together a good basketball program a whole lot cheaper than you can football, and the results are there. I mean, you see all these smaller schools that are having success in this tournament, and it does lead us to that idea. But one of the things, the biggest thing that we got to do in the SWAC, we have to look at the way we schedule games. You got to look at the way you schedule games so that we can attract bigger and better athletes to our conference. And at the same time, it'll also give us our RPI will improve.
When you say scheduling games, are you making reference and playing maybe the NAI teams or the Division II teams of the HBCU background, or can you give me a little bit more understanding? I'm a simple guy when it comes to this.
When I say scheduling, we should not be scheduling as many guarantee games, because I think that's why our overall records are not where they need to be. That's why we are a one bid lead, because the conference's RPI is so low that all they can do is just give you the automatic. So I think that's one of the things that the conference has to look at if they want to improve the overall appearance of SWAC basketball.
Well, it's almost a catch-22 when you say that, Coach, because now how else will the HBCU programs, SWAC programs in particular, make their quota for fundraising? Because this has been the formula over the years that helped reach those goals, those budget goals, other than guarantee games. How else can they make their money?
Well, I didn't know that I didn't know that the basketball coach was the school's fundraiser. I thought there were other officers and other people on campus that assigned that responsibility.
Now, we know that sounds good in theory and on paper, Coach, but the reality is you got to go get them guarantee games.
Right, but I'm not against playing guarantee games. My point is, don't play as many. You can't play 10 to 12 guarantee games and then expect to get a bid, because your record is screwed up, because you're chasing the almighty dollar. And if you want to advance in the tournament, it starts in recruiting. Okay, how are you gonna get better athletes when all they see is a losing record when they see your program? So everybody wants to play for a winner. If we want to be winners on a consistent basis, you eliminate some of the guarantee games, so you're still getting your exposure. I didn't say take them all out. You still play some of those games but you save money by having more of a regional schedule. In other words, instead of playing all of the Power Fives, play some of the other conferences that aren't Power Five that are in your area. Number one, that cuts down on the finances that you have to spend to put together a schedule. You have a better chance of beating some of those schools. And in fact, you might be able to do what some of the schools have done. You get these home-and-home games with some of these schools. And then that improves your overall record. All the teams in the league have to do that so that the conference overall standing improves. And we can get out of that 16 seed. And
okay.
Even at the 16 seed, like this year, we've seen some upset. But when you break down the rosters on those teams, they have had some influx of some Power 5 players, and in some cases, Division II players that have really impacted their program.
Right,
right. So the transfer students, I think this year's tournament has really shown people that they don't necessarily have to come from the Power 5, because 3 of the best players that have played in this tournament came from the Division II level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
when
they followed their coach. Yep.
Right. When you look at the Farley Dickinsons, the Gonzagas, Gonzaga, to my surprise, only has 7,000 students, undergrad students. Okay.
Right.
I'm looking at Prairie View. Prairie View, we have 9,000, 8,000 students. Okay. I don't know what the parity of the budgets are, but it couldn't be that far off. I know that Gonzaga is not a football school, but when I, mentioned earlier, okay, yeah, football is great. It's exciting. But the reality is the opportunity for that front porch to be seen to the rest of the world is going to be through a successful basketball program, and might I add, a strong baseball program, because that's another sport, but I won't talk about that because my partiality toward baseball. I'm going to focus on basketball right now. You only have 12, 13 guys on a roster. The equipment is very minimal. And as you mentioned, if you strategically set your schedule up, you can make an impact relatively quick with the aid of the right additional portal transfers or JUCO transfers with the mix of recruiting in your program.
That's correct. And that's why I'm saying we in the SWAC, we've got to put more emphasis on basketball, because it will help elevate the profile of our entire league. The mindset for the SWAC for years has only been about football, and the impact of basketball can also have a great effect on how our league is viewed. And I think Grambling State showed that this year with some of the great games that they played in the preseason and won. Coach Jackson was able to get kids to come in there that could have played at other places. And that's the kind of thing that all of our programs have to look at to do a better job in the recruiting end, so that we can elevate the status of basketball in the SWAC.
Okay, now you made reference that you shouldn't play as many guaranteed games. What would be a good number of guaranteed games that you would like to see the schools take on and then blend in with that rest of the regional schedule you were speaking of?
Anywhere from no more than 5 guaranteed games. Because if you hold out, you can get the $100,000 paydays, and you play a minimum of 5 of those. Do some more regional scheduling, and then I think you'll see better results on the recruiting end.
Okay, so if you limit your accessibility, then you can slightly drive your pricing up, give you a chance to sometimes steal a win or two, get paid, right, and then build up your overall resume with some more competitive regional conference matchup.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. That's the formula that I see that will help.
Okay. Why do you think that's not being implemented right now?
Because everybody sees the almighty dollar. They want all of the non-conference games to be money makers. So they send the schools out and they play 90% of their non-conference schedules is made up of guarantee games. You got some schools that play maybe only one home game during the non-conference schedule. So what is that doing for your own fan base? You don't even have your fans coming into a home game until your conference schedule. And by that time, because of the amount of guarantee games you play, 9 times out of 10, you come into your conference schedule with a losing record.
With a losing record and a team that you can't identify with, because you hadn't had a chance to be introduced to them. And usually that opponent that you do play at home is a very subpar opponent, and the people are not interested in seeing you play that team anyway. Correct. Wow, sounds like we got some work to do, Coach.
Yes, we do. But it's very fixable. I think the coaches in the league at their meeting, they need to get together. The ADs need to get together, and then the president, to improve the overall profile of our league when it comes to basketball. Mm-hmm. You don't see every football team in the SWAC playing a Power 5 game. You don't see that.
Right.
You don't see that. But they roll out the basketball teams to bring that money in. If the football teams were to go out there, they can get $400,000 or $500,000 for a guarantee game. They can get that by playing some of the Power 5 schools. But you don't see a lot of that in our league.
Right.
Yeah. Every 2 or 3 years, somebody will step out and play somebody. But they play regional games in football. We need to play more regional games in basketball.
Okay. And with that formula in hand, it creates a different narrative of your conference. And I'm thinking about the Big 12 right now. They're gung-ho about football, but it seems that they are taking that approach that we're going to let basketball be our highlight sport for the conference overall, with the conversations of potentially adding a Gonzaga and reaching out toward the four corner schools that have strong basketball programs and mediocre football programs. That could be almost like what the ACC does. When I think ACC, I think basketball.
Right.
I don't really necessarily. I know they have Clemson and they have FSU, and so, but I really think basketball, and that seemed to be the trend of the Big 12. But then, as we mentioned earlier, the SWAC wants that first identity of connection to be football, when it's really a lot easier path, I'm saying, to go basketball.
Well, to me, it's a lot easier path to go Olympic sport. If you go baseball and some of the other Olympic sports, you can put together. You have a faster path to championships through those sports. And I think if you look back at the winner of the conference championship over the years, it's not through football and basketball where they get their points. They're getting their points from the Olympic sport. Mm-hmm. So that's what drives that school to win the overall championship for the SWAC. And I just think that some way we've got to look at putting more money into sports other than football and basketball.
Okay. Well, somebody got to hit a lotto Powerball or something to help the folks repurpose whatever funding we do have access to go. And with all that being said, I know your bracket is all jumbled up right now, but who do you see surviving this thing now we're heading toward the Sweet 16?
Well, no, actually, now with me, I lost I only lost Purdue. Well, I've also lost Kansas. But, I had my Final Four was Alabama, Purdue, Houston, and Kansas. So now that has to be repurposed. Alabama and Houston are standing strong. And being in the South, I'm going to lead in the East. I think Tennessee has a great chance to come out of there because you got Tennessee and upstart Florida Atlantic. Then you got Kansas State and Michigan State. Well, after seeing Tennessee for most of the year, they can handle anybody. If they come ready to play, they can handle anybody left in that bracket. So I'm pulling for Tennessee and Alabama to come out of the South and the East. I still have Houston playing in Houston for the Final Four. And then where I made a mistake with Kansas, I think the winner of the Gonzaga UCLA will come out of the West.
Okay, now let me ask you this: with the way things are trekking out right now, you're saying that U of H will be able to take on Texas. Texas has been playing some inspired ball of late.
Right, but Houston's defensively, if Houston's healthy, their defense will stop Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, their defense will stop Texas. But see, Houston better be they can't take Miami for granted. They got to be ready to play Miami.
Right.
But I expect Texas to beat Xavier, and I expect that to come down to Houston and Texas. I think because of the defensive side of the ball, I think Houston will come out on top if they're healthy.
Okay. Well, even though I pair Texas and U of H, it would not surprise me if Xavier knocked Texas down. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yes,
well,
sir.
I'm gonna go back to what you said at first. Texas is just on the roll. They've been playing well.
Yeah, they've been playing well.
And I think the kids are playing for Coach. They want to see that interim title come off of his name.
Right. Well, I think it should have been taken off, especially when Coach went on and signed up with Ole Miss, and he was done. He was quit. Man, go on and lift that thing off and take that yoke off that brother and let them continue to build what he's been doing. He's taking advantage of it. He's taking great advantage of it.
Right.
And let him carry on.
He's shown that he knows what he's doing and that he can run that program. And I just think the administration is making a mistake by letting it play out this long. And if they want to get their school, if they want to get that team a little more inspiration, go ahead and name him now while they're in the playoffs.
Right. Now, potentially, with the exposure he is getting, somebody else might come and dangle that carrot and say, hey, come over here and lead our program. And then they could end up, as they say, up the creek without a pedal.
Right. Well, see that, I know that will happen because you probably already got people out there that are looking at him, but he shouldn't have to go anywhere. He helped build Texas. He should have the right to coach this team because I guarantee you the majority of that roster he helped recruit.
Yes, sir. No doubt about that at all. So if I got you on record, I know your Alabama blood and your Alabama footprint. You're going to stick with Alabama winning it all.
No, not. I don't think Alabama will beat Houston in Houston for the national championship, even though they've already done it this year. But I think playing at home for the national championship will give Houston that extra oomph that they need. Alabama's very talented. I think they're the only number one that has really shown, that has really played like a number one up until this point now. You know, we don't know what's getting ready to happen with San Diego State coming up. But up until this point, they played like a number one, and they are one of the most talented teams that's left in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to them making it to the championship game. But if it's against Houston, it's going to be hard for me to go against Houston playing in Houston.
Okay.
I plan to be there to see it all, though.
Okay. Now, I was going to say, now, as far as the matchups go, we know it's all about the matchups and the style of play. I don't think San Diego's style of play is going to be that much of a problem for Alabama. But like you said, they got to play these things out on the court. And U of H, like you said, if they remain healthy and don't stumble. So I got you now. Alabama, Houston, but Houston with the slight edge as your NCAA tournament champion.
Right, because they're playing in Houston.
Okay. Well, I always put a pen to the paper and value what the guru says, because you hadn't been far off since I've been involved with you, and I truly appreciate it. And I know you're a man on the run, sir, so I'm going to give you some closing thoughts and comments that we can carry on to the next segment.
Right. I just think that this is a great conversation about the SWAC improving their image when it comes to basketball. This has been a great season in the SWAC when it comes to basketball, both on the men and women's side. And I look forward to the future for our coaches, athletic directors, and presidents sitting them down at the round table and coming up with a plan that will improve the overall performance of our teams in the SWAC. And I look forward to it. And for you having this conversation, I think it's sorely needed for the people.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Look, you stay safe and tell the family we said hello, and enjoy the rest of the tournament, and hopefully your projections will come out to be what they were, and we'll just discuss it a little later down the road. Yeah,
that's good, and that's a problem.
All right, he is Coach Van Pettaway. I'm the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And don't forget to visit that website at obnradio.com. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.